Roar! Roar! Only a pound, said the auctioneer. Only a pound, and I'm standing here selling this animal gain or loss. Only a pound for the drover's horse. One of the sort that was never afraid. One of the boys of the old brigade. Thoroughly honest and game, I swear, only a little the worse for wear. Plenty is bad to be seen in town, so give me a bid and I'll knock him down. Sold as he is and without recourse, give me a bid for the drover's horse. As I loitered there in an aimless way, I suddenly noticed that poor old gray, with the rough bush saddle and the single rein of a fancied bridle on a tangled mane. Weary, battered, and screwed, of course, as I looked at that old gray horse, straightway the crowd and the auctioneers seemed of a sudden to disappear, melted away in a kind of a haze, for my heart went back to my droving days. Back to the old road, and I crossed it again, on to the miles of the Saltbush Plain. The Saltbush Plain that is said to be the dried up bed of an inland sea, where the air is so dry and clear and bright, it refracts the sun with a wondrous light, and on the dim horizon makes the deep blue gleam of some phantom lakes. At dawn of day we could feel the breeze that stirred the boughs of the sleeping trees, and brought a breath of the fragrance rare that comes and goes in that scented air. For the trees and the grass and the shrubs contain a dry, sweet scent on the Saltbush Plain. And for those that love it and understand, the Saltbush Plain is a wonderland, a wondrous country where nature's ways were revealed to me in my droving days. We saw the fleet wild horses pass, and kangaroos through the Mitchell grass, and the emu ran with her frightened brood, all unmolested and unpursued. And there came a shout and a wild hubbub as a dingo raced for his native scrub. He paid right dear for those stolen meals, with the drover's dogs at his wretched heels. We'd run him down at a rattling pace, while the pack horse joined the stirring chase, and a wild woohoo at the kill we'd raise. We were light of heart in our droving days. 'Twas a drover's horse, and my hand again made a move to close on a fancied rein, for I felt the swing and the easy stride of that grand old horse that I used to ride. Through drought or plenty, through good or ill, that same old horse was my comrade still. And that old gray horse with its honest ways was like my mate from the droving days. We kept our watch in the cold and damp, and if cattle broke from the sleeping camp, over the flats and across the plain, with my head bent down on his waving mane, through the boughs above and the stumps below, on the darkest night I could let him go. At a racing pace he would choose his course, and my life was safe with that old gray horse. But man and horse had a favorite job if an outlaw broke from the station mob. With a right good will was that stock whip plied, with that old horse racing at the straggler's side, and that green hide whip such a peal would raise, and we could use the whip in my droving days. Only a pound, and was this the end? Only a pound for the drover's friend? With a broken knee and a broken heart, to be flogged and starved at some hawker's cart? Well, I made a bid out of a sense of shame, and for memories dear of the good old game. Thank you, guinea, cheap at that. Against you there in the curly hat. Only a guinea and one more chance. Down he goes if there's no advance. Only a guinea and 1, 2, 3. That old gray horse was knocked down to me. Well, now he's wandering fat and sleek on the lucerne fields near the Homestead Creek. I dare not ride him for fear he'd fall, but he does a journey that beats them all. For though he scarcely a trot can raise, he carries me back to my droving days.